I want you to take a deep breath right now and feel the truth. Your heart is not broken. It is vast, it is powerful, it is divine. You were not created to shrink, to bend, to dim your light, to fit someone else's fear. You were born to feel deeply, to love authentically, and to rise every time life pushes you down. When the avoidant leaves, it can feel like the ground has disappeared beneath your feet. But this is not the end. It is the beginning. It is a sacred invitation to remember who you are. You, with your extraordinary sensitivity, have been gifted with a depth that many will never understand. Your emotions are not a burden. They are your superpower. They are your map, guiding you to truth, wisdom, and the next chapter of your life. Do not carry the weight of their absence as blame. The avoidant leaves not because you are too much, but because they are not ready to meet you fully. Their departure is not a reflection of your worth. It is an opportunity to release control, to stop trying to fix what was never yours to fix, and to surrender to the flow of life. There is freedom in this release, a liberation that comes only when you stop seeking validation from the unavailable. Now it is time to reclaim yourself. Reclaim your energy, your peace, your dreams, and your joy. Protect your heart like the sacred temple it is. Set boundaries that honor your worth. Nurture your mind, body, and soul. Fill your days with practices that ground you, nourish you, and remind you that you are whole, even without their presence. Pain, heartbreak, and loss are not punishments. They are divine teachers. Every tear you shed, every ache you feel is a message from the universe guiding you toward growth, wisdom, and empowerment. Transform your sorrow into purpose. Let it fuel your evolution. Let it show you the paths you were never brave enough to explore before. Anchor yourself in alignment with your higher self. Meditate, reflect, pray, or simply breathe. When you are grounded in your divinity, external absence cannot shake you. You become untouchable, resilient, luminous. You are no longer defined by who left, but by the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. Surround yourself with those who honor your heart. Seek connections that celebrate your depth and respect your boundaries. Thrive in communities where authenticity is cherished. You do not need to chase or convince anyone of your worth. You are magnetic to those who are ready to meet you fully. And finally, step boldly into your future. Let this chapter of loss be the launching pad for your greatest transformation. Thriving after the avoidant leaves is not about revenge, it is about transcendence. It is about walking into the sunlight of your own life with your heart intact, your soul empowered, and your spirit unstoppable. You are not just surviving, you are awakening. You are not just healing, you are rising, and the world is waiting for the brilliance only you can bring. You have often been told that your emotions are too much, that your sensitivity is a weakness, or that feeling so deeply is a burden to those around you. Society has conditioned us to believe that numbness, detachment, or stoicism are signs of strength, while emotional depth is something to be hidden or controlled. But this is a lie. Your emotional depth is not a flaw. It is a gift, a superpower, a sacred compass that connects you to the truth of yourself and to the beauty of life. Every tear you have shed, every feeling you have allowed yourself to experience fully is evidence of your courage, of your bravery, and of your authenticity. Emotions are the language of your soul. They are not meant to be feared, repressed, or dismissed. When you feel profoundly, when you allow yourself to experience the full spectrum of human emotion, from the heights of joy to the depths of sorrow, you are tapping into a divine capacity that most people never even acknowledge. This is the strength of the super empath, the ability to sense, understand, and resonate with the emotions of others while remaining connected to your own inner world. It is a depth that allows you to see beyond appearances, to understand the unseen currents in relationships, and to feel the subtleties of life that others overlook. When the avoidant leaves, it can trigger a storm of emotions, sadness, confusion, anger, and even self-doubt. You may feel tempted to suppress these feelings, to hide them, or to rush past them in the hope of getting over it. But running from your emotions only prolongs your suffering. True healing begins when you embrace your emotional depth fully, when you allow yourself to feel without judgment, without shame, and without trying to change what is happening. You create space for understanding, growth, and empowerment. Feeling deeply is not a weakness. It is the doorway to freedom. Embracing your emotional depth also means recognizing that your sensitivity allows you to perceive truth that others may miss. You notice patterns, intentions, and energies in ways that are subtle but profound. You are attuned to the undercurrents of human connection, the unspoken words, the hidden pain, and the silent joys. This awareness can be a guiding light, helping you navigate relationships, make wiser choices, and avoid repeating cycles that do not serve you. By valuing your emotional intelligence, you step into a higher level of self-respect and personal mastery. It is also essential to understand that embracing your emotions does not mean letting them control you. Feeling deeply and responding wisely are not mutually exclusive. The super empath learns to honor emotions as messages, as signals pointing toward needs, boundaries, and opportunities for growth. You do not need to act impulsively on every feeling, but you do need to acknowledge them, listen to them, and use them as tools for self-awareness and empowerment. Every wave of emotion is a guide, leading you to align with your authentic self and your highest purpose. Finally, embracing your emotional depth allows you to cultivate compassion, both for yourself and for others. When you honor your own feelings, you develop patience and understanding for the struggles of those around you. You see that everyone is navigating their own challenges, their own wounds, and their own fears. This empathy is not a burden, it is a gift. It makes you resilient, grounded, and luminous. By fully embracing your emotional depth, you transform vulnerability into strength, sensitivity into wisdom, and heartache into a bridge toward your higher self. Your emotions are not something to hide. They are your power. They are the fire within you that illuminates your path, the compass that guides you toward authentic connection, and the key to thriving even after loss. When you embrace your emotional depth, you step into a life of courage, clarity, and divine alignment. One of the most challenging lessons for a super empath is understanding that not everything is within your control. When an avoidant leaves, the natural impulse is to question, to analyze, and to try to fix the situation. You replay moments in your mind, asking yourself what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and how you might have kept them from leaving. This urge comes from a deep place of care and love, but it is also a trap. The truth is, their departure is never truly about you. It is about them, their fears, their limitations, and their inability to meet intimacy in the way you are capable of giving it. The sooner you release the illusion that you can control someone else's choices, the sooner you reclaim your power. Control is an illusion because every human being operates from their own inner world, their own programming, their own unresolved pain. You can influence, inspire, and love, but you cannot change the trajectory of someone else's heart or force them to confront their fears. When you cling to control, you bind yourself to the ebb and flow of another person's emotions, making your peace dependent on something external and unstable. But freedom comes the moment you recognize that the only life you can truly guide and shape is your own. Your energy, your choices, and your growth are yours alone. Letting go of the need to control allows you to breathe, to trust the natural course of life, and to step fully into your own power. Releasing control is not passive resignation. It is conscious liberation. It requires courage to step back and say, I cannot change them, and that is not my responsibility. What is mine is how I respond, how I heal, and how I rise. This shift transforms heartbreak into clarity. The universe often removes people from our lives, not to punish us, but to align us with what we are truly meant for. By trying to control what has already moved beyond your reach, you block yourself from the opportunities, lessons, and relationships that are waiting to nurture your growth. When you surrender the need to control, you also release blame. It is easy to internalize the avoidance departure, to think that somehow it reflects your inadequacy. But their leaving is not a mirror of your worth. It is a reflection of their own journey, their own fears, and their inability to receive what you have so freely offered. Recognizing this truth allows you to detach without bitterness, to observe without judgment, and to preserve your heart from unnecessary suffering. This is not denial, it is divine discernment. You see clearly, you act wisely, and you guard your energy with grace. Moreover, releasing control opens space for acceptance. Acceptance is not about liking what happened. It is about embracing reality as it is without resistance. It is about trusting that life in its infinite wisdom unfolds exactly as it should. You begin to understand that endings are beginnings in disguise, that loss carries lessons, and that your heart is resilient enough to grow stronger through every separation. When you stop trying to force outcomes, you allow healing to flow naturally, and you step into alignment with your higher self. Finally, letting go of control is a radical act of self-love. It is saying to yourself, I am enough, and I do not need anyone's presence to validate my existence. My peace, my joy, and my life are mine to claim. It is liberating to realize that you can navigate heartbreak not by clinging, but by releasing, not by chasing, but by rising. The avoidance choice to leave becomes a catalyst for your empowerment, a mirror reflecting the immense strength, wisdom, and resilience that has always resided within you. By releasing the illusion of control, you reclaim your freedom, your power, and your purpose. Your life is yours to steer, not theirs. Let go, trust the journey, and watch how the universe guides you toward the love, clarity, and fulfillment you were always destined to find. When someone avoidant leaves, it can feel as though they have taken a piece of you with them. You may catch yourself questioning your value, doubting your worth, or wondering if your heart will ever feel whole again. But here is the truth. No one can take what is inherently yours. Your peace, your joy, your identity, they cannot be stolen. They are within you, waiting to be reclaimed. Prioritizing self-reclamation after loss is not just an act of survival. It is a conscious, powerful choice to step back into your sovereignty, to honor your needs, and to assert that your life belongs to you and no one else. Self-reclamation begins with awareness. It begins with noticing where your energy has been scattered, where your boundaries have been blurred, and where your identity has become entangled with someone else's presence or absence. For a super empath, it is easy to absorb the emotions of others, to bend to the needs of those who cannot meet us fully, and to lose sight of our own desires. But now is the moment to realign with yourself. Reflect deeply on who you are without them, what you truly value, and what makes your heart come alive. This reflection is not indulgent. It is essential. Your inner world is sacred, and reclaiming it is an act of reverence for the life you are meant to lead. Reclamation also involves intentional self-care, but not the superficial kind that masks pain. This is the deep, nourishing care that restores your energy, recharges your spirit, and rebuilds your sense of self from the inside out. It is setting boundaries without guilt, saying no when something drains you, and yes when something elevates you. It is creating rituals that honor your mind, body, and soul, whether it is journaling, meditating, walking in nature, or immersing yourself in activities that ignite your passion. Every intentional act of self-care is a declaration. Your presence matters, your feelings matter, and your life is worthy of attention and devotion. Prioritizing self-reclamation also requires courage to detach emotionally from the avoidant. Detachment does not mean hatred or resentment. It means reclaiming your energy from someone who cannot sustain it. It means redirecting the focus from them to you, from their absence to your presence. This is a process of recentering yourself, of noticing where your thoughts and emotions have been trapped in patterns that no longer serve you, and consciously choosing to shift your attention to the parts of your life that are within your control. Another crucial aspect of self-reclamation is reconnecting with your purpose. Often, empaths invest so much of themselves in others that they forget their own calling. Loss provides a sacred invitation to remember what you were born to do, the gifts you are meant to share, and the impact you are capable of making. When you reclaim your purpose, you reclaim your power. Your heartache transforms into fuel for creativity, growth, and meaningful contribution. Every step you take in alignment with your purpose strengthens your resilience, restores your confidence, and amplifies your joy. Finally, prioritizing self-reclamation is a radical act of love for yourself. It is choosing your well-being over the illusion of dependency. It is deciding that your identity, your peace, and your happiness are non-negotiable. In this process, you are not just healing, you are evolving. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is more empowered, more resilient, and more attuned to your true worth. The avoidance departure is no longer a wound. It is the catalyst for your awakening. By prioritizing self-reclamation, you are declaring to the universe and to yourself that your life is yours to live fully, authentically, and without compromise. You are taking back what is inherently yours, your heart, your energy, your purpose, and your joy. And in this reclamation, you discover something profoundly liberating. You are whole, complete, and capable of thriving, not despite what was lost, but because of the power you have claimed within yourself. Pain is not the enemy. Heartbreak, loss, and the ache of an avoidant leaving can feel unbearable, but these moments are not meant to break you. They are meant to awaken you. Every experience of pain carries within it a hidden message, a divine lesson, and an opportunity for profound growth. The super empath understands that pain is not something to avoid or suppress. It is something to observe, honor, and ultimately transform into purpose. What? You shift your perspective from suffering to learning, from loss to empowerment. You begin to realize that every tear, every heartbreak, and every moment of grief is a catalyst for your evolution. The first step in this transformation is acknowledgement. Pain must be felt fully before it can be transcended. Do not rush past it. Do not distract yourself or try to numb the ache with temporary comforts. Sit with it. Allow yourself to experience it without judgment, without shame, and without resistance. Your emotions are messengers, not enemies. They are showing you what matters, what has been suppressed, and what has been overlooked in your life. By allowing yourself to feel deeply, you unlock the door to insight, understanding, and ultimately transformation. Once you have acknowledged your pain, the next step is reflection. Ask yourself, what is this experience teaching me? What patterns have I been repeating? Where have I been giving away my power or ignoring my worth? The avoidance departure is not just an ending, it is a mirror reflecting areas of your life that need attention, boundaries that need reinforcing, and truths that need embracing. Reflection turns hurt into wisdom, confusion into clarity, and grief into actionable insight. You begin to understand that your suffering is not random. It is purposeful, guiding you toward a higher version of yourself. Transforming pain into purpose also requires action. It is not enough to simply reflect. You must channel your energy into creation, contribution, or growth. This might mean pursuing a passion that has long been neglected, dedicating yourself to personal development, or helping others who are navigating similar challenges. When you redirect your emotional energy toward meaningful endeavors, your heartbreak becomes a force of empowerment. The lessons you learn, the resilience you cultivate, and the strength you develop ripple outward, not only transforming your own life, but inspiring and uplifting those around you. It is essential to understand that purpose is not always grand or external. It can be found in the smallest acts of integrity, compassion, and self-honor. Showing up for yourself each day, choosing to live authentically, and refusing to let your pain define you are all ways of turning sorrow into meaning. The super empath knows that even in solitude, in grief, or in moments of doubt, life is offering the chance to align with a higher calling. Pain, when embraced and understood, becomes a teacher, a guide, and a stepping stone toward the life you were always meant to lead. Finally, transforming pain into purpose is an act of empowerment and liberation. It shifts your identity from victimhood to authorship, from heartbreak to mastery. You no longer see yourself as someone who has been abandoned. You see yourself as someone who has been refined, strengthened, and prepared for greater things. Your empathy, sensitivity, and capacity to feel deeply, once seen as vulnerabilities, become the foundation of your resilience, creativity, and influence. Each experience of loss now contributes to a life of intentionality, wisdom, and divine alignment. The avoidance departure is no longer just an ending. It is the spark that ignites your transformation. By embracing your pain, reflecting deeply, taking inspired action, and aligning with purpose, you turn heartbreak into a vehicle or growth, empowerment, and transcendence. Your life becomes a testament to the truth that suffering is not a detour. It is a destination that leads directly to your highest self. Through this process, you discover an unshakable truth. You are not defined by what leaves you, but by what you create, nurture, and rise into after the storm. When someone avoidant leaves, it can feel like your world is unsteady, like the ground beneath you has shifted. You may find your thoughts racing, your emotions spiraling, and your heart longing for stability in the absence of the connection you once cherished. But here is the truth. The stability you seek has never been in another person. It resides within you. It resides in your alignment with your higher self, your inner guidance, and the divine flow of life itself. Anchoring in divine alignment is not an abstract concept. It is a practical, transformative practice that reconnects you to your inner strength, your clarity, and your peace, even in the midst of loss. Divine alignment begins with awareness. It begins with noticing that life is always guiding you toward what is in harmony with your soul's highest purpose. When the avoidant leaves, it is not a punishment or a rejection. It is a signal from the universe that your energy is needed elsewhere, that your focus must return to yourself, and that your path is calling you toward growth and empowerment. This awareness shifts your perspective from resistance to trust. You begin to see that life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. Every loss, every ending, every moment of heartache carries a hidden blessing, a lesson designed to realign you with your truth. Anchoring in Divi. Knee alignment also requires conscious practices that reconnect you to your center. Meditation, prayer, reflection, breathwork, and journaling are not just rituals, they are tools that help you stabilize your energy, quiet the mind, and attune to your inner guidance. When you consistently return to these practices, you create a sanctuary within yourself, a place of calm and clarity that no external circumstance can disturb. You realize that your peace is not dependent on someone else showing up. It is cultivated, nurtured, and anchored from within. Another essential aspect of divine alignment is discerning between what belongs to you and what does not. The avoidance choices, behaviors, and absence are theirs. They are not yours to carry, fix, or internalize. By anchoring in alignment, you develop the wisdom to release what is not yours and embrace what truly resonates with your soul. This discernment protects your energy, preserves your emotional stability, and prevents you from being pulled into cycles of confusion, longing, or self-doubt. You learn to navigate life with clarity, confidence, and a grounded sense of purpose. Divine alignment also reconnects you to your intuition. When you are in alignment, your inner voice becomes louder, clearer, and more trustworthy. You begin to recognize patterns, sense opportunities, and make choices that honor your highest good. Decisions are no longer made from fear, loneliness, or the need for validation. They are made from a place of clarity, courage, and inner wisdom. This alignment transforms every aspect of your life, your relationships, your career, your personal growth, and your connection to yourself and the world. Finally, anchoring in divine alignment is a practice of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust in the universe. It is the unwavering knowing that even when someone leaves, your path continues, your purpose endures, and your light is never diminished. When you anchor in this truth, external absence loses its power. You are steady, grounded, and radiant. You no longer seek validation outside yourself because you are already complete within. The avoidance departure becomes a sacred invitation to deepen your connection to the divine, to honor your soul, and to step fully into the empowered life that is waiting for you. By anchoring in divine alignment, you transform loss into stability, chaos into clarity, and heartbreak into spiritual growth. You rise above circumstance, attune to your higher purpose, and become an unshakable force of resilience, wisdom, and love. Your life becomes a testament to the power of alignment, showing that when you are grounded in the divine, nothing outside you can ever destabilize your peace, your joy, or your path. After the avoidant leaves, it is natural to feel isolated. as though the absence has created a void that no one can fill. But this is a sacred opportunity to shift your focus from seeking approval or validation from those who cannot meet you to cultivating authentic connections that honor your heart, your boundaries, and your soul. Building authentic connections is not just about companionship. It is about surrounding yourself with people who reflect your worth, support your growth, and celebrate your unique gifts. It is a conscious act of reclaiming your energy and choosing relationships that amplify your light rather than diminish it. Authentic connections begin with alignment. You cannot attract what you are not willing to embody. If you seek understanding, respect, and unconditional support, you must first extend these qualities to yourself. Self-respect, emotional honesty, and clarity about your boundaries are essential foundations for meaningful relationships. When you honor your own truth, you naturally filter out those who cannot meet you at your level of integrity. You stop chasing validation from those who are emotionally unavailable and start inviting those who resonate with your energy and purpose. Clarity about boundaries is central to building authentic connections. After experiencing the absence of someone avoidant, it becomes clear that allowing others to overstep, manipulate, or disregard your needs can no longer be tolerated. Setting boundaries is not a form of rejection. It is a declaration of self-worth. It communicates to the world, and more importantly to yourself, that your emotional space, your energy, and your heart are sacred. Authentic connections flourish when there is mutual respect, and boundaries create the container for trust, safety, and true intimacy to grow. Another crucial element of authentic connection is vulnerability paired with discernment. Being open and genuine is vital, but it must be balanced with awareness of whom you allow into your inner circle. Share your heart with those who can meet it with kindness, empathy, and reciprocity. Let go of the need to please or rescue others who are not ready or willing to engage in authentic exchange. True connection thrives in mutuality, where both parties feel safe to express, to grow, and to be fully themselves, but without fear of judgment. Building authentic connections also requires patience and presence. Meaningful relationships are not instantaneous. They develop over time, nurtured by trust, shared values, and consistent emotional honesty. Invest your energy in those who show up consistently, who honor your time and feelings, and who contribute positively to your life. Avoid superficial interactions that drain your energy or leave you questioning your worth. Instead, seek depth, sincerity, and alignment in every interaction, for it is these connections that will sustain you and empower you to thrive. Finally, building authentic connections is a celebration of your own growth and resilience. After the avoidant leaves, you are no longer tethered to someone who could not meet you fully. You are free to choose relationships that enhance your life rather than diminish it. Each authentic connection you cultivate serves as a reminder that your heart is capable of deep love, your energy is worthy of respect, and your life is deserving of meaningful, joyful relationships. These connections not only nourish you, they reflect the transformation you have undergone, the strength you have cultivated, and the wisdom you now embody. By consciously building authentic connections, you create a life that reflects your highest values, your deepest truth, and your capacity to love fully without compromise. You attract those who resonate with your energy, honor your boundaries, and celebrate your authenticity. In doing so, you not only heal from the absence of the avoidant, you thrive, you flourish, and you step into a life of connection that is both empowering and deeply fulfilling. The departure of an avoidant can feel like the closing of a chapter, but in truth, it is the opening of a doorway into your empowered future. It is easy to linger in what has ended, to replay memories, to question what went wrong, and to feel the weight of loss pressing down on your heart. But every ending is a divine invitation to rise, to reclaim your power, and to consciously step into the life that is waiting for you. Your empowered future is not dependent on someone returning or recognizing your worth. It has always existed within you, patiently awaiting your decision to claim it. Stepping into your empowered future begins with a mindset shift. You must recognize that thriving after abandonment is not about revenge, validation, or proving anything to anyone else. It is about self-mastery, self-respect, and the deliberate creation of a life that honors your heart and soul. When you stop seeking fulfillment from external sources and turn inward to align with your own power, you become unstoppable. You begin to understand that your potential, your joy, and your purpose are not negotiable. They are inherent, and they cannot be taken from you by anyone who fails to recognize your worth. Empowerment comes from conscious ice. Every decision you make, from the way you spend your time to the people you allow into your life, is a declaration of your sovereignty. You no longer live by default or out of obligation. You live intentionally, guided by your values, your boundaries, and your highest vision for yourself. This is a radical act of self-love. It is a commitment to create, to grow, and to rise above circumstances rather than be defined by them. The avoidance absence becomes a catalyst, a powerful force that redirects your energy toward your goals, dreams, and the life you were meant to live. Stepping into your empowered future also involves embracing growth and expansion. This is the moment to pursue passions, cultivate talents, and explore opportunities that align with your authentic self. No longer constrained by the energy of someone who could not meet you fully, you are free to chart your own course, unencumbered by fear, doubt, or obligation. Every step forward is an act of reclamation. It is proof that your life is yours to shape and your joy is yours to cultivate. Resilience is central to empowerment. Heartbreak and abandonment are not signs of weakness. They are proof that you have dared to love deeply, to feel profoundly, and to open your heart fully. When you harness that resilience, you transform past pain into fuel for your future. Each setback, each moment of sorrow becomes a lesson, a stepping stone, and a reminder of your strength. The super empath who steps into their empowered future does not merely survive. They thrive, they flourish, and they radiate a magnetic energy that draws aligned opportunities, experiences, and people into their life. Finally, stepping into your empowered future is a commitment to your highest vision of yourself. It is a conscious choice to honor your heart, protect your energy, and pursue a life of purpose, joy, and fulfillment. It is the understanding that you are not defined by who left you, but by the magnitude of love, strength, and wisdom you cultivate after the storm. Every choice, every boundary, every act of self-respect is a testament to your growth, your courage, and your alignment with your higher self. Your empowered future is not a distant dream. It is your birthright. By stepping fully into it, you reclaim your story, reclaim your power, and declare to the universe that you will not be diminished by absence or rejection. You rise, you thrive, and you create a life that reflects your true worth, your authenticity, and your infinite potential. In doing so, you become a living testament to the truth that thriving after the avoidant leaves is not just possible, it is inevitable for those who choose to honor themselves, embrace their power, and step boldly into the life they were always meant to live. Thank you for trusting yourself to show up, feel deeply, and embrace your journey. Goodbye for now. Keep rising, thriving, and stepping boldly into your empowered life.